You're going to be shocked by what these women are doing with marriages that many would dream of having. Perfect relationships, exemplary husbands, and yet they want a divorce. How far does modern dissatisfaction really go? Watch until the end to find out what's behind these decisions that defy common sense.
I just don't think marriage is for me. And I'm tired of it. And I don't know what else to do, because this is like imagine living a fairy tale and it's nothing like you imagined it. You're living your literal fairy tale and it's not what you want. It's not what you want. Even if you think that you want it, even if it's exactly what you dreamed of. Is marriage even worth it? It's not. It's not. At some point, you're gonna realize that it's always best to just be alone. Because I've been married for about 7 years, and I don't even know if this is worth it. And not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong. There's nothing wrong, and that's the point. I don't even know why I'm upset. I'm just, not thinking that I made the right decision. And I have a good man. I do. And that's not the point. The point is, it's you really do lose yourself. You lose your sense of individuality. You lose your sense of peace. And this could be even to a good man. You're gonna lose something, and I don't think it's worth it. At all. I've always had a dream of getting out of my hometown city and moving on, moving forward. Life is supposed to be experience. We're supposed to be doing new things and traveling and all that, and I do all of that. But at some point, I don't know if I want to continue doing this every single day of my life. Always checking in with someone, always having to consider their feelings, it's always somebody else. You're never alone. You never have a moment to yourself. You never can do that, and I don't know, you can't, I can't even really barely deal with myself and my own emotions. Imagine somebody that you know for such a short amount of time, because you're never gonna know that man you think you do, and that's just not in a negative way. It's still just, I don't know.
Even though she's living what many would call a fairy tale, Trotialm, a stable marriage with a good man, she feels a deep emptiness and questions whether life together is really worth it. The problem isn't her husband, but her own inability to handle boundaries, responsibilities, and the commitment a relationship requires. This kind of dissatisfaction reflects a modern mindset that values ego and personal freedom above commitment and building a family. From a traditional perspective, marriage is more than personal fulfillment. It's partnership, patience, and emotional discipline. Wanting a divorce just because you can't give up certain comforts or individual desires shows a shallow understanding of what it truly means to love and build a life together.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody, okay? I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog, where all of those things, okay? Had a full breakdown. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me be very clear about that. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. And that is probably the reason why I have not left. Okay? Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always have been are not met, right? Which I don't know if anybody's are. The reason that pushed me to even bring up divorce and talk about it was the fact that I feel like I can't be myself with my husband. And it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old. I am a mom of 3, and I still don't know who I am. So for me to be like, oh, I can't be myself, or you don't love me for who I am, isn't really fair, because I don't know who I am. I'm figuring that out every day. But the reason why I wanted to share this on here in the first place is we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We're going to Mexico, to Cabo, for our 10-year anniversary trip. And we're rewriting our vows. We never wrote vows in the first place. We didn't have vows when we got married. And I'm struggling to write my vows, like to write a vow. And I think that's because I still feel very unsure in our relationship. The one thing that we finally talked about this past week together, because it's just been something that since we kind of talked about it and I brought it up and we committed to change and we committed to working on our relationship, I started my own business. He quit his job. Roles have changed. Life has been crazy. And we just haven't come back to talking about this subject. And I brought it up again because I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, like writing these vows is hard. I don't feel like we're any closer. I don't feel like anything has really changed since I brought this up 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever. And I want to work on our relationship. Like at the end of the day, of course I could get a divorce and try to go find the love that I'm craving with somebody else. But that's going to come with its own hardships, its own complications, and ones that I'm not willing to take on, right? I love Ryan. He is the best father, okay? I just need to learn how to explain what I need from him in our relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need to be doing the same for him so that we can both, like, in 10 years from now, in the next 10 years, look back and say, like, we put in the work and we finally have the marriage and the relationship that we have always wanted, and that is what I want. I guess the reason why I'm coming on here, and if you've made it this long, that's really nice. What have you done in your relationship to get to that point? If you have been in a place where we are and have worked through it and have found things that have brought you closer or that have given you that relationship, like I'm just, I guess, asking for advice. Like, what have you done in order to get there, and what has worked for you? We're honestly willing to try anything. We have done therapy and counseling before. And it was fine, honestly. It wasn't like my favorite thing, but I'm willing to try that again. And I don't know, books, podcasts, like what have you guys done that has worked for you to get your marriage to where you want it to be? I just don't like thinking, okay, we've been married for 10 years and we've kind of like been at this same point the whole time. I just don't want to look back 10 years from now and not have tried my best to have this like relationship that we both want and that we deserve and that our kids deserve to see in us. So I'm kind of being vulnerable and posting this on here, but I would just like to know, like, what has worked for you and what advice, I guess, you would have for me. Thanks.
Here we have a woman who recognizes all of her husband's qualities: loyal, hardworking, a good father, yet still feels she can't be herself within the marriage. The key point is that she doesn't fully know herself and projects this search for identity onto the relationship, confusing personal growth with marital dissatisfaction. A traditional view would say marriage requires adaptation, communication, and mutual commitment. Problems don't arise solely from the partner, but from the joint effort to understand and meet each other's needs. Instead of rushing into divorce, what's needed is reflection and emotional discipline to manage expectations, develop patience, and build true intimacy. Impulsive decisions risk losing stability and putting the entire family, including the children, at stake.